Today's call is being recorded.
Can I get your birthday?
June 26th,
All right.
2001,
Wait, what time were you born?
10:58 a.m.
All right. And where?
Dallas, Texas.
There we go. All right. So please don't hesitate to interrupt if you have any questions whatsoever. I'm grateful to see you're born 2001. That's definitely a ridiculously amazing year. I've been getting really excited to do charts of people born in the late 90s and after 2000 because y'all represent the new generation. Y'all represent the turn of the century, literally. And yeah, it's an honor, man. Once again, please don't hesitate to interrupt if you have any questions. Oh my gosh, I see you have a T square between your moon and Virgo and Saturn and Pluto. That must be very painful and just irritating, especially if people just be trying to lie to you and they don't even know that you know they're lying, like before they even lie. But it was a little comedy. But other than that, that really, that really, that could be really frustrating. I just wanted to share that at first. The Saturn square end is nitpicking and maybe paralysis of analysis because you're constantly analyzing the integrity of the truth of what's said. This is actually a superpower. It's a good aspect. It could just be a burden. And then the Pluto square is obsessing over the meaning over these facts because you'll come into these facts hot grizzy in the real moment and identify with it. And so there could be an obsession over analyzing how the intense meaning, especially because you can discern it so truly at an ascended level before people really get a grasp of what's happening. Does that resonate at all?
Yeah, I can see that. Just like trying to, how you say, analyze like what's being said to me or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I guess you said like thinking hard about it.
Yeah, or what you see, or your interactions with other people too, which we'll get into. I just wanted to mention that because I feel like that's a feature, a major feature of your chart, which is pretty spread interestingly. But yeah, so um,
You
just to
said what was it called? The P square? What did you
the
say?
T square, yeah, it's a T square, it's a mutable
Oh,
T.
T square.
Mutable T squares are a sign of super skilled magicians. So like you have a very advanced perceptual faculty, which we'll get into. But yeah, so you represent the new generation and Pluto and Sagittarius from 95 to 2008. So y'all are very unique in that Pluto is now in the first of the last four zodiac signs. So you and I have our sun in the first four zodiac signs because we're the spirit of the individual. The next four from Leo to Scorpio is social. Your moon is in Virgo. So you're a social personality and a social soul. This actually now makes you the master high priest of destiny because the north node's on your sun, right? That's actually a huge deal. So outside of that, um, the master soul, right, or the Virgo moon is one thing, but in the first, it's like wearing your soul on your sleeve, but it's you being an instrument of your own soul and the receptivity to this reality around you physically. It's actually low key super psychic, but because now you understand your personality at the core, you identify a lot with what your feelings pick up around you, which is really important. But once again, um, with Pluto here in Sagittarius, right? You have a social soul. So this makes you a social individual. In that this doesn't mean you're extroverted, although you could be, but more so you're going to have a real understanding of real social dynamics while still expressing your own sincere individuality. It's a very powerful position, but you may still need some real social interaction to express this fully. And that's actually masterful. But then you have the last four zodiac signs, Mars. I mean, you have Mars here, Sagittarius to Pisces, which is the collective zodiac signs, which is an extension of the social and applies towards literally everything and everyone. And this is now the God level signs. Y'all generation is the first Pluto sign since like the 1700s, the 1600s. Wait, yeah, the 1700s to actually have Pluto in Sagittarius. And so your awakening abilities on a godlike level, y'all are the very first out of those four to kick it off. And so y'all represent the generation that's going to lead us into the new age. You got Uranus and Neptune and Aquarius, and you also are going to you're going to create the new world where the utopian ideals of technology and society converge. And if we're not destroyed in nuclear holocaust, it's going to be some pretty fun times. Or if y'all just don't, if y'all don't decide to burn everything to a crisp. But yeah, I just wanted to say that because we're on the heels of y'all coming of age. And the key thing about this is Pluto steps into Sagittarius when Saturn goes into Aries. So that karmic cycle starts off with like 95 to 98, 97, 98, and they are the sparkers of the new they're the sparkers of the new world. They spark the new concepts. Then you have 98 to like 2001, and they're the builders of the new earth. And then you have 2001 and like 2003, and y'all are the thinkers of the new world. And this is actually key because this is where we see the opposition with Pluto and Saturn and Gemini. Y'all play a very crucial position. You actually have Saturn and Jupiter and Mercury in Gemini, which now make you smarter than most people because this is a supernaturally rare alignment where Jupiter only meets with Saturn once every 12 years. So you're putting karma and constriction of Saturn with Jupiter. The way you're able to crystallize your thoughts and ideas helps you hyper focus on the truth at a frightening level because your moon's in Virgo too. So you can now also analyze how factual what's being said is. But this can sometimes be a weakness because 12th house to your Cancer sun, you can overthink anything to an oblivion. It can sometimes once again like keep you stuck if you have information overload, but this is a supernatural magical aptitude. uh every Cancer sun, especially everyone I've ever met with Mercury and Gemini is just super smart. It's super brilliant. Like the way your brain processes information is highly logical. My youngest sister has this 29 degrees and she's in Stanford. She graduated college with 4.0. And Cancer sons with this are exceptionally intelligent because you now apply the Gemini logic creatively and intuitively. So Jupiter here literally now expands and evolves your brain's processing ability uh, to untold levels, trine Uranus in Aquarius, which adds literally, I promise you, a supernatural, claircognizant quality to your brain's ability to process. So Mercury and Gemini already can walk into the room and just instantly know what to say to someone because of how your brain processes not so much the social environment, but your own individual expression. You literally have the gift of gab. It enables you to communicate the truth rather efficiently. Jupiter here is now going to add super juice and evolve how much more talented and gifted you can speak and communicate and add so much information. Let's just say if Mercury and Gemini was that channel, Jupiter literally expands that channel. And then let's kind of put context to that. You have a whole wealth of information to communicate to people on. And there's a magic to Gemini where you're just saying what has to be said, the right words every time. But now Uranus trines this, and now there's this supernatural freaky element where cosmically you know exactly what to say before it is even known that it should have been said. It's a cosmic sense of telepathy to where you can know what people are thinking and speak to that, and it can freak people out because they could have just been talking about jaguars, and then you walk up to them and say, wow, today's such a good day, and I wish I could see a jaguar, something like that, and you may be completely unconscious of that, and now someone's like, wow, that was kind of weird. But this energy is somewhat unstable, and you now stabilize this with Saturn. So that was just kind of to speak to your brain connected to Uranus and Jupiter, add a superhuman like, sorry, add a supernatural, superhuman like quality to the way your brain functions that, in all honesty, goes against postmodern materialist reduction science. So you have the best of both worlds here because your moon is in Virgo, and everything that you know, the reason why I'm saying it like this is you can literally know things without having the details of why you know, if that makes sense. And
Mm.
your moon in Virgo will still feel the facts. So this is how you have the best of both worlds. But I just want to straight up let you know there's nothing normal about this. Like, it's supernatural expressly. It's directly aligned. So you literally can walk into a room that you've never been before in and just know that someone stole two cookies from the cookie jar. And that's going to be weird because you don't have any deductive or inductive reasoning to discern that, and that's called claircognizance. And then Neptune trines Saturn exactly 8 degrees. So Saturn anchors your mind's ability to process now the totality of the truth, which crystallizes its focus, and it connects with Neptune that draws intuitively from the astral realm in a knowledgeable way, whether to have precognitive dreams, but also to anchor and stabilize not only how you imagine knowledgeably, but channel literal knowledge from the ethers. Saturn will now contextualize this individually in your experience and stabilize and align the truth of what you're picking up. So you're not just picking up anything. So 12th house to your Cancer Sun, you may get gaslighted viciously because you're picking things up real time. And it could be hard to understand what you're thinking about or communicating. And it can be easy to just dismiss it as just random weird thoughts, but it's actually a lot more on point than it may initially seem. So we take all that Gemini magical perception, all of that as a Virgo rising falls in your 10th house. And this now represents your broadcast individual messaging ability to share the truth. This is your karma. You have a master legacy. 29 degrees Taurus. It's slow, but it's wealthy and it lasts forever. And this manifests the karmic responsibility and the abundance to get your message out there. That's all you're meant to do in whatever fashion you want to set up because Saturn is here, whether it's through a podcast, writing, this is going to literally get you success, abundance. Oh, and you're destined to do it too. Because now the North Node here in the 11th is kind of like an element of fame that's more individually gathered where you create this community. But the challenge is to take the resources of your talents incredibly to individually create a team, to individually be a leader where people subscribe to and connect with. And the challenge is to, just be yourself. Now, people who have set the North Node, especially that close to the sun, you are the sincere power of destiny. So you literally even have destiny powers. You're the captain of your destiny group, but let's kind of bring this to reality, right? It's kind of like if you played a dice game and no one else had the North Node there, you would win the dice game because you're destiny. So like destiny is literally going to wrap itself around what you will and intend to do, and it's very subtle here in Cancer, which is cardinal, so it's an element of the force in a psychic, powerful way. The 10th house of Gemini is that broadcast platform. 12th house to you, transcending the nature of your reputation. And Saturn here means that as you come into your Saturn return, this individual karmic obligation to really maintain the integrity of truth. Because the truth that's out there that you put out there is not going to be a lie. There'll be karmic penalties if people lie to you or if you lie, because you're the master high priest, once again. But this is going to secure very powerful positions of authority that you set up, right? It's like you create a podcast, but now that podcast gets millions of views. So that's Saturn in the 10th. You made it yourself, and like you're an authority of your ideas, whether people like it or not. Like that's the power of Saturn. It's lit. And so you have now Sagittarius opposite this. As a critic, you unveil hidden meaning. And this is actually a very extremely potent aspect of your healing because you have Chiron in Sagittarius. Oh, wow. So you're ascending this healing. This is fire healing. Opposite Jupiter, you're healing the meaning of how you understand the truth. And with this opposition, it could be contrarianism that plays out where a lot of your ideas or hidden understandings are just outright rejected. It could be extremism. It could be extreme philosophies that you act out on, and sexual frustration and aggression. Because this is also extreme sexual healing that you may tap into collectively. There's so many myriad of ways this could play out because of the moon square. So this could be a way you self-inflict harm emotionally by, instead of expressing anger towards maybe members of your family who trigger this, or people private to you, you internalize it. Um, excuse me. So it doesn't have to be bad. This is actually one of the best parts of your chart. It makes you super magical. It helps you understand this collective healing. It's ascended healing. But if this manifests as a wound, this is the extreme wanderlust and adventurous passion that will contrast with the detached intellectual logic of Gemini. So this could really, it could either have you hyper focus one moment or be extremely ADHD the next moment. Does that resonate? Because that could be wrong. I just want to be sure. That's real.
No, I could see that. I bounce around from like different tasks to whatever. Just like trying to get whatever done. Like lose focus in one area, go hop into something else, and come back to this.
And that's an
Whatever.
element of your genius because you can do kind of it all at once, but it would just look retarded to certain people. But like, they don't have your focus. Like this is a supernatural level of focus. Mars and Pluto is so extreme. Like if you were to lose the handle, you could probably like shoot someone in the face. So I don't know if this manifests in like extreme anger issues, or your ability to feel this in others and to calm it down rationally. But connected to Uranus, this is so claircognizantly aligned. Like, this is really dope. It's really fun. In fact, now the pressures of the message you put out there, because what this does is it helps you synthesize the deeper hidden meaning of everything you express. So it's super magical. Like you have three levels of magic here: the real magic in Virgo that helps you feel the facts, the how, the ascended magic in Sag that helps you now see the meaning of these details, and then the enlightened magic of Gemini that has you communicate what it is. You crystallize all that so that you can take all these ideas and centralize it into a focused point and then expand on that. It's super masterful. So Sagittarius here could also represent your private space of healing that aggression by just being privately creative and fueling that through that. If there's any kind of like opposition you face, but be mindful of people playing contrarian and trying to play you and trying to gaslight you and trying to act like you're lying, but then they take your ideas or they like flip it on you because it's not in your head. you were feeling it real time if that should happen.
What does that mean? Feeling in real time.
Feeling it real time is you're feeling it as it's happening.
Oh.
You're processing it and you're analyzing it as it's happening. So then we also see a Venus in Taurus. Venus in Taurus, I have that too. This is the natural heart. You have a very strong heart, and this puts you in a position to realistically open up to this sense of grounded natural value. It's just attached to your 10th and the ninth. This is going to get you paid. And it also adds a lot of attraction and beauty to the way you're seen and your legacy. Um, Especially in the ninth connected to Virgo, you may attract romantic potential or a wife that is, or a romantic partner that's from a different country, from a foreign country, as they say in the ninth, or even if it's in the same country, probably from a different heritage, you might be into that. It's just square Uranus now, there presents a potential instability in relationships from outside influences where you desire stability, but well, you stability is pleasing to you, but then Mars in Sagittarius desires to switch it up at a moment's notice, and that could be kind of frustrating, uh, especially with the square to Uranus that will now add this unconventional sense of your lifestyle. You live your lifestyle by unconventional principles that are, so strange and unique, it's invisible. You can't really see it. It's not personal. So this is actually really advanced. As a Virgo rising, this will represent advanced techniques supernaturally you can apply in this individual expression of yourself out there to the world. It's just square, you know, Taurus. Taurus is individual desire and natural value here, but then how much of that philosophy do you live or share collectively and knowledgeably, which could clash and could represent outside influences getting in the way of how deeply or stubbornly you attach to what you are. But the moon trine your heart is what's going to really give you a very masterful understanding of how you feel into the details of this naturally. And all of these energies now fuel into your awareness in the 11th as an 11th house Cancer sun that is able to really be aware of your own individuality and how you form friendships around you. Like planets revolve around the sun, and you are destiny. I love that you have a master 29-degree legacy. You're going to come into a lot of wealth with Uranus transiting here, and Saturn is tightening up your sixth. So as you come into your Saturn return, it's okay if you don't have all the answers, even though your mind is already locked into the knowledge, and you process this psychic power in ways to provide, cleansing, healing, and understanding for everybody. So thank you for calling in, and I'm going to send you this recording. Did you have any final questions?
Oh, I had one written down. Isn't Jupiter in a detriment in Gemini? Or I don't know if that's the right word to say, but
Yeah, yeah. So traditionally, Jupiter is in its detriment in Gemini, and that can express itself in information overload. That's the nine of no, it's the eight of swords it's the eight of swords in the tarot, where you feel stuck. So basically, Jupiter and Sag that likes to expand and visit different cultures and like really teach about philosophy is in Gemini, the lower mind. So this is like tabloids but see it, even though it's in its detriment, it works really well here in Gemini because it's next to Mercury retrograde. So it really enhances and evolves the way you communicate.
mm.
Yeah. And you have Uranus in its dignity. So that trine kind of now restores the detriment of Jupiter in a functional way. Yeah, your chart is
And
amazing, really powerful. So you stay blessed. And yeah, if you have any questions in future, feel free to shoot an email and
yeah.
have a blessed week.
We should. Thank you.
No problem.
I